You're listening to A Splash More with Bailey and Hayley, two moms 12 years apart who aren't afraid to spill it.
Around here, we pour the wine, tell the truth, and skip the sugarcoating.
So grab your glass. It's time for A Splash More.
All right.
We're on.
Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. Okay, two of my favorite people are in the same room today, which is, I know, it's big things for me to say, and also very exciting. We are welcoming Dr. Whitney Burrell onto the podcast today. Welcome to A Splash More. We have even poured a splash more today.
Have.
Cheers, y'all.
Cheers, cheers, cheers. Yay.
For those of you that have been a part of the Bailey P community for a long time, you've seen a lot about Whitney over the last year as our relationship and friendship has
I know, I feel like I know her.
I know, right?
I feel like I know her.
Yes. I feel like a lot of people saw her become a huge part of my world, not only as the surgeon who did my reduction and lift for these beauties, but also who became just a prominent part of my world. And we became very fast friends and have created such a special connection that I'm just like, every time you walk in, you bring like this breath of fresh air to me every time I see you. Like I felt it again today, where it's just like anytime we see each other, both of our shoulders relax and we're like there's just this connection between us that really is very special. So I'm just so happy you're here. And yeah, we're just going to dive into all sorts of things today. So I would love to start with just kind of a little background on you. Can you give us just kind of like maybe, 5 things that you want our listeners to know about you, or a little background about yourself that just kind of sparks you? Just give us the Whitney Burrell download, if you will.
I love that you didn't give me any.
But it's fine. Don't worry.
That's the point.
That's why we have
split yourself.
Yeah.
I think one through line is that I was in training for a long time. I did 4 years of medical school, 4 years of 5 years of general surgery, another 3 years of plastics, and then a year of fellowship. And I became a little institutionalized. I got married for the second time to my love, Daniel, at 40, babies at 44 and 46 and a half. And so I'm now 51, in the last 5 years, plus, minus, have kind of had this resurgence of, okay, who am I? I want to feel alive. Mm-hmm. And we're all going to die soon. Yeah. So like all bets are off. It's made me a bit unfiltered, a bit direct, a bit of more of my challenger self. But it has made me a fierce advocate for helping and being a teammate to people who want to be their authentic selves. Authenticity as the highest vibe.
Yes.
So I get to have the honor and privilege of being in an amazing practice of doing this fabulous work that I love. I'm a 3rd-generation surgeon, grandfather, father, uncle, and it's a medium for alchemy, and I feel very blessed to do that.
Love that.
Yeah, and I feel like I get to connect energetically with people, and that is what guides the whole process.
It's so cool to hear you say that because, we always think of, I'm just saying I'll speak for myself, but I know a lot of people probably feel like this, that doctors, surgeons specifically, are like these creatures that are unrelatable, untouchable, mostly because like I couldn't imagine cutting into somebody. Like that just feels like such an important thing. I know we'll get into this more. If I have someone cutting into me, like I want them to be very special, and I want them to hold a certain place on this planet that nobody else can hold, which I can imagine is a little isolating. I have a best friend, her husband is a surgeon, and to me, he's just a guy, like my friend. But I know to a lot of people, he's probably what you are to a lot of people. So it's really, this conversation is really exciting for me because it's nice to just connect to somebody and put a person to this like godlike, skill that you have, and to be able to see it in a more like natural setting, I guess.
I really appreciate
Yeah.
I love that. And as the person who has had Whitney cutting into my body, there's something specific I want to touch on with that. Well, one thing that's so wild to me now is that Whitney, of course, started as my surgeon, but then we became really good friends. And so that's funny you mentioned that about Mike, because now that's what Whitney is to me, where I'm like, well, sure, like Whitney did my surgery, but like she's Whitney, like she's like, I love her. And we like get drinks and brunch and like, you know about each other's kids. So it's so different from now. But something I want to touch on specifically that you mentioned right off the bat was that energy that you bring to the room as a surgeon, because I think that is what I get asked the most when I share about our story specifically, and like the new lease on life that I got from my specific reduction and lift is so many people ask me like how I got to that place where I was comfortable as someone who really stands for body positivity and self-worth and loving my body through all seasons, how I got to a place where I was like comfortable getting plastic surgery. And how was my recovery so seamless, which is a huge part of my story, because genuinely when someone asks me about that, I'm like, I kid you not, like I'm a poster girl for recovery. Like it went so well for me, 0 complications. My scars are practically like almost gone a year and a half out. It's wild. And like I went through a whole second pregnancy this last year. My boobs like barely even changed. Like it's just been the most fulfilling journey for me. But you setting the tone in the room during my first consultation, I think is what set that whole experience off for me. Is you immediately created this connection with like my energy, my goals, what I wanted out of this. Yeah. And you understood that from the get-go. And I feel like sometimes I can't even really put that into words through how I share how incredible you are on social media. And like several of my followers now have actually come to you for consultations and surgeries. And I just want to hear more about kind of what that means to you, to really be someone who, when someone comes in the room, you connect with them on a deeper level than I think a lot of other surgeons do. And, you know, how did you kind of come to bring that into your own practice? And I know it's as valuable to you as a surgeon as it is for me as a patient. I know that because I feel it from you. And I think putting a term on it, honestly, like bedside manner is like sugarcoating it, because that's not what it is with you. It's not bedside manner. It's like genuine human connection and caring for people. And you do it differently than with anyone I've ever experienced in any form of care.
Wow, Bailey, thank you. That's like that's the best. Seriously. What a juicy question. So in medical school, they break down the different types of patient engagement. Okay. And the one that I recoiled against was the paternalistic model of I'm just going to take over and I'll tell you what's good for you. Mm-hmm. And I felt like the subterranean thrust was like, we're not going to do that, but we're going to kind of do it. We're going to kind of let them talk, but then we're going to actually push what's best for them. Yeah. My father was a gynecologic oncologist, which is very intense, like ovarian cancer, cervical cancer, very sick patients, highly, like you think about the reproductive organs, it's super
sensitive,
loaded.
Yeah.
And he came to a point of such respect and really spirituality, and he grew up agnostic, but just a respect for, hey, this patient was supposed to die. Yeah. And they changed their mindset, they changed their heart set, and they lived another 7 years. And he had the intellectual and emotional integrity to not discount that. Yeah. And so I watched him. My model for surgeon wasn't someone in arrogance who rigid, but it was a collaborative. It was almost a ministry. It was almost the mutual respect and the empowerment was my model, and what I grew up watching and respecting and thinking surgeons were like. Had a bit of a rude awakening later, but came back to that. Mm-hmm. And it's what feeds me. This is an energy exchange. Not to get too into the woo, but it is it is an energy exchange. If my hands are in someone's body, like that is powerful. And so it's for me too, in that I need to have this partnership. I need to know, do I need to carry you across the finish line, which I can do, but I need to be prepared for that. Or like with Bailey, she fed me. I came out of that experience like, whew, like my head blown off of like, wow, this woman she gave me insights that I hadn't even considered. And I felt like I'm pretty seasoned. Yeah. but it's more of like sometimes with reduction, but a lot of times with breast reconstruction, I get women who are fresh off of a diagnosis, who are still in deep shock, who are just sort of being passed down the line lovingly, but like there's like they don't even know what to think. They're just doing the next.
It's like, oh, you do this next
thing, and I feel I have the luxury of being able to say, where are you right now?
Yeah, like mentally,
where
emotionally.
are you right now? Like kind of ground them a little bit, and let them know, you know what? At the end of the day, you're the boss. You're the boss, and there are a lot of different ways we can play this. And what I feel I'm pretty good at is feeling if they're like, yeah, so, you know, it's lemons, but let's make lemonade. I'm like, okay, and I can kind of relax and go in. But if they're just like, they don't even know where to look, where to turn, then I really have to drop it in and connect with them so that they trust that I'm not going to steamroll them, because that's when disconnect happens. That's when you kind of lose the plot a little bit. And as Bailey alluded to, words are spells, energy is spells. The energy you bring in to a surgery is very impactful. And I want to make sure that they know that I've got the ship. I'll drive your ship, but I want you to feel invested and to feel a sense of responsibility for your own outcome.
Yeah, that's
right?
that's a huge thing. I mean, I don't want to cut you off, but in my head, as Bailey knows, I'm going through some like,
I know she's really in this
some
conversation.
like medical things right now. I was always like very healthy my entire life. And then I decided to have children very intentionally and 2 C-sections back to back in under 3 years. And it's just been a lot on my body. And just feeling like disempowered, is that the right word? Because for me, I hold, you hold the medical field and the people who run the medical field at this like high level of standard. And so it removes the space where you feel comfortable like advocating for yourself a little bit.
Yeah.
And I think that's why it's so important to have you on or have someone like you on, because it's hard to step into like the strongest, biggest, best version of myself when I'm working through all these other things and feeling kind of like a fraud because I feel like I'm not advocating for myself in ways that I want to.
Which in turn makes you feel small.
Which in turn makes me feel small. And like 2 things specifically that literally happened in the last 2 days, which the universe works in wild ways. I found I had a hernia, which I told you about before we jumped on. And I got the CT scan before the doctor was able to talk to me. And someone from our office called me and said, the doctor said, everything's great, no evidence of a hernia. And I looked at the report and I was like, okay, like I want to be happy about that. But like it says right here, small hernia. So like, can we have, I'd like an appointment or something to like, I don't want to, blow up her spot because she's a lovely person. And she delivered my second baby. But when we finally talked, she was like, well, who told you that? I'm like, someone from your office. Like someone from your office called me and told me that there was no evidence of a hernia. And we wouldn't have had this conversation if I hadn't spoke up. Yeah. And I was afraid to, because I was afraid she'd be like, well, how dare you? So that's one thing. And then today I have to have MRIs now every year in place of a mammogram because I'm, denser boobs and just like higher risk of potential breast cancer. So I had my first one today and,
it was in the box.
Yes, it was supposed to be boobs in a box.
Boobs in a box. That's kind of how you described it to me. You're like,
exactly.
Yeah, your boobies were hanging down. And
Yes. And I had an IV in me, and it's supposed to be like a 20, 25 minute experience. And the machine is breaking like left and right. And finally they came in after 30 minutes. We were only halfway done. And I'm like, okay, what's going on? And they're like, well, it's malfunctioning. It was not working yesterday. We're trying to fix it. We might have to start all over again. And I was like, but you just told me that you already had images from the first round. So like, can we just use those? And then you can start from the point that it left off.
So I think it's important to know here that you struggle with these experiences as well.
Yes.
Like you have a legitimate
so.
condition.
I have vasovagal.
Yeah.
Okay. When I had my second C-section, my blood pressure dropped to 56. Like, it was bad. I was fine. Obviously, everything worked out fine. But I have a very legitimate like fear where I can actually talk myself into a medical episode. But with this one, I was just like, you don't have to. She was like, well, we don't. You're right. But they just like it to be in the same record. And I'm like, well,
Perfect.
take that record, connect it to that record. I'm not doing this again. And so I spoke up for myself again. Yeah. But it's just this like feeling, you're so vulnerable.
Sure.
Like mostly when you're in these scenarios, you're kind of probably naked and you're
That's such a huge part of it.
Right?
It really is.
You're naked. You're just like talking to these people you've probably never met before.
I've been naked so much with Whitney.
Well, yes.
So much. I showed her my boobs in the, hopefully Alexa doesn't get mad about this, in the Altamura bathroom.
I went to get a facial at your...
Sorry.
Not sorry.
Okay. She won't care. She'll be like, cool, let's have a gossip bubbles over it.
I got a facial at your place and I showed my boobs to my facialist because I was like,
oh, that's right. Yeah, she got a facial at the
I
spa.
was like,
Which
is this...
The blonde. She does most of the facials.
No.
Valerie.
Valerie, yes, thank you.
Yes.
So I have a question.
Yes.
What is the story you tell yourself when you're with your doctor that if you speak up, that your outcome will be poor?
So there's a couple of things. Thank you for asking. I think the first thing that came to mind was like, I shouldn't have to tell you these things. And so the fear comes in where I'm like, can I trust this person? If they are not seeing these things, but then I have to, I'm a pretty like self-aware person. I go back and I'm like, they're a human too, and they're not inside of my body yet. So they don't know what I'm feeling or like what this experience is like. So
I feel like that intuition comes from motherhood because we're all trying to talk ourselves through that narrative every day. Okay, I don't know what he's feeling right now. Like
exactly. So that's the first thing. The second thing is I have this like intense, I know everybody has a fear. Well, not everybody, I shouldn't say that. Most people have a fear of dying. And every road leads to death for me. Like every single road. I am like, sure, I thought I was going to die today at a routine MRI because of the IV. I'm like, well, I've never had this potion that they're putting through my veins. Like, what if
Hayley thinks she has cancer like every other day.
So yes, do I have a little bit of hypochondria as well? Yes, I do. But it's more, I would say the first where I'm just like, I don't want to have to tell you this. I want you to know that like, and I want everyone in your office to know also, like, how is this a place where someone could make a mistake, which is not fair, right? Because I obviously don't want someone who's like cutting into me to make a mistake, but someone in an office like should be able to make a mistake as a human. But I'm rambling. Those are probably
You're not rambling at all. No, in fact, what I'm hearing just in a couple of things you used, a couple of the terms used to describe someone in the medical field is godlike. It's omniscient. You get to be physically inside me. You should be inside my soul.
Yes, I know.
Right?
Yeah.
And especially if you have this fear of death, and plot spoiler, no one gets out alive.
I know. Which I know. Not yet. Not yet.
But there's a bit, that's sort of gallows humor, black humor, whatever you want to call it, but it's sort of liberating.
Yeah.
And I've personally subscribed to, when it's your time, it's your time.
Yeah.
If it ain't your time, it ain't your time.
I try to get on board with that. And, there's a lot of things, obviously.
Don't run out and play in traffic.
No, I don't think you have to worry about me. I am like, I would put a bubble around my body.
But just to throw in some facts, like it's not the surgery, it's the anesthesia that people fear.
Yes.
The intubation, I think, as well. Like, at least for you.
Sure. Well, the concept of they paralyze you and a machine is breathing for you.
Right.
It's all of it.
And you're claustrophobic, I can tell.
Yes.
So it's like,
she's reading you like a book.
So it's a lot.
Like
it's a big leap. And, but the statistics bear out that general anesthesia for a healthy young woman, no cardiac history, is exceedingly safe. I don't like to downplay any surgery. Every surgery is a big surgery, blah, blah, blah. But there's, and also I give my patients license. Hey, if I ever at any point sound glib, just because I do this all the time, you get to say, you know what, let's slow down. This is new for me.
Yeah.
Empowering them to be like, you're kind of cruising through. You might think you're being reassuring. You are not being reassuring. I'm feeling railroaded. Like, let's slow down.
Yeah.
I need to cognitively hear this. So I try a few different approaches with people who have that fear, because it's real, and it's what you feel, and it's information, and it's essential that whoever is operating you respect how you're feeling and what you're feeling.
Yes, no, and that's absolutely true. And I think just kind of like circling it back to why we're here and the whole reason for this platform, it is really hard for someone like me to step into, I mentioned it a little earlier, just like the most empowered version of myself when I have this like debilitating fear of anything medical related, because I can't. I'm like, and it obviously stems from stuff, right? Like we all have stuff that has occurred in our lives that create these stories that we, double down on.
Yeah. Well, for instance, I mean, we this is a conversation I want to continue opening up between the two of you, because specifically, I think you probably I know because you voiced it to me that you do carry a deeper fear with another surgery due to your C-sections. I've never had a C-section. In fact, my reduction in lift was the first surgery I've had. But like I've said, like it never even crossed my mind. Like I think I remember literally being wheeled back, and at some point Sam was like, "Are you like good?" And I'm like, yeah, I'm fantastic. You kidding? I'm like, let's go. Like it just never even crossed my mind to be concerned. And I've shared this so many times, but like the text you sent me on that morning, like I had done the work at that point for myself, and Whitney was like, I've got you. Like it's my turn now, and I've got you. And I knew, but I think the difference is that I knew that all along. Like, yes, at that point it was your turn to take the ship, but she supported me so much in all of the preparation. But the point I'm trying to get to here for you two specifically is that Hayley has voiced to me, I hope you're okay if I share this, that like she does have a desire at some point for potentially maybe just a lift, but maybe a reduction in lift. She oftentimes when we're out just like being Bailey and Hayley together outside of the podcast, just being girlies, she, I'll wear these tops that she just immediately is like, I could never wear that, or I can never wear that dress because this and this and this. And of course I always start and I'm like, well, I still wore this before I had small titties, because I was just like, whatever, like I'm still going to wear the fucking backless dress even if my titties are falling out the
double
side.
Whammy, like debilitating lack of confidence around my body, but also debilitating fear of death. So there we go.
Okay.
It's wonderful living in my brain.
It's a beautiful brain.
It's a beautiful brain.
But I've told her, I'm like, just do me a favor and sit. She's like, I don't want to have surgery again. I said, just do me the solid of just sitting down with Whitney, because I hear you talk about this desire all of the time, and you don't deserve to live like that if it's not something you want.
I knew this was going to turn into like, basically
No, it's not. No, we're not going to turn this into her convincing me to get. No, it is not a consultation.
No.
But I'm saying,
yes.
Tell me that being in the room with Whitney already doesn't just give you this like sense of peace.
It does. But one thing I want to touch on that you brought up, you don't understand fully until you get cut open awake.
Fair. That's fair.
2 times.
Yep.
It is. On top of me.
Did you have C-sections?
I didn't. I participated in C-sections in residency.
Yes.
Fair. Okay.
It's intense. So like, imagine being who I am, as I've explained, and putting me in that situation.
Yeah.
Right. So it's like, it takes so much mental strength for anybody, I think, to have to get cut open awake like that. Not that you're feeling anything, right? It's not painful for me. I know that there are people that do experience pain. It's painful after, but like, it's fine. I can deal with that. That's the thing that's ironic about it, is the pain after. Once everything's like sewn up, I'm out of that hospital, I don't even think really twice about it. I'm like, okay, great. But in the experience, it's like, again, going back to vulnerability, it's this like super vulnerable experience where you can't take anything to help your brain because you could pass it on to the baby. And you are literally letting people cut you open while you're just laying there awake. And they're going through 7 layers of your body. And there was one point, going back to your point, where you're like, oh, this is an everyday thing for me, these things. But I try to take a pause because this is probably the one and only time this person's going to go through this experience. I looked over and my reflection, my whole body reflection was reflecting in the cabinet that was in the operating room. So I could see everything.
Oh, that
before they started cutting, and I stopped everything. I was like, oh no, can somebody please cover that cabinet? Like I can't see any of that. And actually even funnier, this is kind of gross, but funny too.
we love that you're finding the humor in this trauma.
After my first one, I look over and there was a whole I'm going to say bucket, but it's something more medical, I'm sure. Some type of container that had a bunch of blood and fluid and stuff in it. And I looked at Joe and I was like, whose blood is that? And he was like, yours.
Yep. Don't know how to tell you that, Hales.
What? So it's just, I wanted to just touch on it. That's that fair. Maybe being asleep, I've only been put to sleep once with propofol, which I was not intubated for my egg retrieval. And I've Googled, I was telling Bailey, if you look at my Google history right now with this hernia situation, it is insane. I'm like, can you have this laparoscopically? Can it be done with propofol? Do I have to be intubated? Can I be awake? Can they cut the... It is ridiculous.
So I have an observation.
Yes.
You went through that not once.
Twice.
But twice.
I had to.
Okay. Could part of your being, part of your spirit, be calling in that experience?
1,000%. Oh.
Hey, look, gnarly, intense.
You're still alive.
And you got through it.
Yeah.
You got through it.
Yeah.
You experienced something more intense than 90 whatever percent of women who give birth ever have to experience.
Yeah.
And I don't know that I could tolerate watching a live surgery because it's intense.
Yes.
Your organs are out.
Yes.
This is very intense.
And knowing that.
And you did it twice.
I did it twice.
So can we give you a little?
Thank you.
Can we do that a little bit?
That's so nice.
No,
Thank you.
it's true. Let's take the win from that.
Yeah.
That you got through it. You have beautiful kids.
I do.
What you endured, and we're not going to go down the road about American obstetrics and how the attitudes around childbirth, but it's like you there is something in you that brought that in.
Yes. Yeah. No, I think I knew that I wanted.
With it.
Yes, I wanted 2 children. I was lucky enough to create 2 children, and I knew that they had to come out. And so I do kick myself a little bit for not fighting harder to be able to try vaginally, but that's okay.
But it's like you got thrown into warfare in the front line and you kind of kicked ass.
Hey.
Okay?
That's so nice to hear.
It's true.
Thank you.
So that's one thing. The second thing is that occurred to me while you were speaking is that in having compassion for your surgeon, for whomever, you have to have compassion for yourself. When you have compassion for their humanity, you have to have compassion for your humanity.
Yeah. And
your fallibility and your messiness, and we're not encouraging surgeons to be messy, but connecting of hey, I'm allowed to be fat. I'm allowed to be a little messy.
Yeah.
I'm allowed to have staff that give the wrong report. I'm allowed to show up with fear.
Yeah.
I'm allowed to express my fear. Okay. And making space for yourself, you make space for your surgeon, and making space for your surgeon or any healthcare person or anyone in authority, you make space for yourself.
That's actually a really good point, and thank you for saying that, because
I love that.
I do too. Not just...
That's part of what makes you so special. I just can't imagine hearing that from so many that work in your field.
That's exactly right.
Not to dog on anyone, people. That's why there need to be different people in your field and in any field, right? It's just like we need people who love working from home and people who need to go to an office, right? We need them both. Yeah. But for people like myself and you, even though we have had different experiences, we're both feelers. And it's important for us to feel seen, period. And that's what you also did for me. You made me feel seen.
Yes. I mean, the way she talks about her experience would make anybody be like, sign me up, right? So I would be the toughest sell probably, because I'm still not sold. And she is my best friend and has talked about it in such a positive light, and such world changing light for you, right? Like it was just like change your entire life.
I literally call it a new lease on life because
Yeah.
that's what it was for me. I feel like and people have spoken that way about it, that have seen my like, transformation on social of just like, you are just a completely different glow of a human being ever since I've had it done.
Every iteration of light and lighter, like your light is brighter.
I mean, I look
feel
back on
lighter,
videos. Yes. All of the
Like-
things. You're totally right. She just is like she looks like dull and dreary before in some
I'm comfortable
level.
in my body. And
Yeah.
I feel like I still feel shame over saying that I feel more at home. Like not even more at home. I'm actually going to take out the term more. I feel at home in my body
Yeah.
now. And I think because of the way that I grew my platform, I still feel shame around admitting that, because even as many times as I say,
Because you feel like you changed your body.
yeah, which I
Like,
did.
yeah.
But on my own platforms, when I say like, I have loved but that's what I think people that are new that find me now don't understand, is that I have literally loved my body through every season. Like you'll even see, even though I like felt uncomfortable physically prior to my reduction, you can tell like I still loved myself. Like I was like, I love, you both have so
know,
much
I'm like,
to
I'm
say.
like-
You're both chomping in the bed.
I want
You can
to
go
speak-
first.
I want you to speak about that post after your last workout, where you
The last workout before my surgery.
where you communicated how you feel this betrayal. It was so honest.
That video still finds people.
It just blew me away. It was such raw honesty around, I'm doing this. I love my body. Yet there is this inherent sense of betrayal because this is the body that has gotten me this far and I'm changing it.
Yeah.
And you spoke with such truth around that, such honesty, that it gave me this whole other level of awareness and compassion. Like I had never thought about it. It's like, yeah, this is the right move. This is like
Right.
being so solidly, let's get the momentum on that side.
Mm-hmm.
But the honoring of both, anyone who can hold the both and is just like, that's the magic.
Both and I
That's
love
the
that.
magic. That's
Yeah.
I do a
That's the
lot
grief
of
and the joy.
Yeah.
a lot of work around both and. I
Both,
love
yeah.
that saying.
Yeah.
And I wanted to even take it a step further because I think it's important for our listeners to hear about this. We talk about changing your body, right? So Bailey created this network and this community of women originally rooted in like your plus size modeling days and body positivity and all of the things. Why is doing something like a breast reduction or a GLP-1 or something like that any different from changing your body? So they only knew you as a brown-haired girl and now you're a red-haired girl. So can you not be committed to them or in community with them because you changed the color of your hair? Like what is the difference between
That's so
something as
That's a deep, fair point.
right?
Very good.
Like, why is cutting into your body to change something so wildly inappropriate to your community or to the people who knew you the way that you presented originally any different from changing any other part of your life or your body? Like if a doctor came to you and said, hey, you have cancer, we need you to lose 30 pounds before you can start this treatment. Are you not allowed to do that because your community knows you as 30 pounds heavier? Like it just is wild to me that these conversations are so taboo.
I couldn't agree more.
or making value judgments around life-saving versus quality of life.
Yes. That's a
Right?
huge, yes.
I did a body lift on a woman who is 75 and had lost a lot of weight, had been uncomfortable in her body her entire life, raised 4 kids, lost all this weight, but had rolls and wasn't so comfortable. And she said, "It's my time." And she had a family member when she went to the bathroom. This woman stepped out, and the family member says, I don't even know what's the point. She's 75. I looked at her.
You don't have to
And I
understand.
said, it's her time. It's her time.
And why do you care?
And precisely. And I think, unfortunately, it's starting to ebb. But making judgments about how people change their bodies is the last sanction bastion of judgment, being judgmental.
Or as we say here, making judgment on people's bodies, period, is literally none of your business, right? It is none of my business.
Well, so that's an interesting caveat actually to what I do, because as you both are saying all this, I just like had this moment where I'm like, wow, everything I speak about, right, is to like not judge or talk about other people's bodies. And yet I feel like now that I'm kind of in this like mid-size category versus plus size, that like the people that initially held me to like that standard and that pedestal, like I'm not relatable to them anymore.
Yeah.
And that's what I think I'm struggling with right now.
Yeah. Which, wow, that's actually huge, because you've been really struggling on the business side, as you've been very open with your community.
Yeah.
And that could be it. Yeah. So, hey, everybody, get on board, because who cares? You're going to love her no matter where she is or what she looks like. You know, if she continues to be who she is at her core, in her heart, in her soul, as it is for all of us, then like get on board.
It brings it back around to authenticity.
Yeah.
As the highest vibration. And that's where you're vibing at your authenticity. And unfortunately, you shed a lot when you're authentic, when you are aligned, when you're not living for anyone else.
Mm-hmm.
And it's painful. And honoring that, I see your pain. It is painful. Trust me, I feel you. But it's not going to slow you down. And there's not a rejection of people. And if they feel, I'll back up, honoring the stories that other people tell themselves, but letting those be their stories is a superpower. Having the boundary of like, hey, I trigger people because I used to make them feel comfortable. And you and I have chatted lightly about that, of I made it comfortable for them to look a certain way. But if that isn't their authentic, if they're that way because they're in fear or they have self-limiting beliefs, I'm not there to sponsor that,
right,
or harbor that.
Yeah.
And I cheer for them and their authenticity. I would love them to cheer for me in mine, but you're not expecting it.
We do here.
We absolutely do.
You know, and you're cheering, and that is what that is who you are, is that you cheer for everyone in their authenticity. And if they want to be a BMI of whatever, 30 plus, 40 plus, whatever, if that is their healthy and they are living their best life and they are thriving, awesome. But if they're cowering and kind of using you as a shield, you're not going to do that, because that's not aligned with who you are.
Well, and it's actually not supporting them, right? Like that's, you're you're doing it intentionally, but if that's
valid.
It's, as Whitney said, it is really something within themselves that is triggering about you. Yep. I can tell we are a room of women that trigger people. We trigger people. We can trigger people in really positive ways, but we can also trigger people in challenging ways.
Oh, I became a plastic surgeon because I was triggered. I was a general surgeon, and I was reading my alumni.
Oh, that's right.
My alumni magazine.
You could do my hernia if you hadn't changed.
My mom, straight up knowing how much I loved Whitney prior to delivering Brooks, was like, "Can't Whitney just deliver your baby?" And I'm like, "Well, yeah, I'm sure she like
in a pinch
could, just like any mom at my workout could like catch him. God forbid he came out while I was doing squats, but like, you know, obviously not. But yes, general surgery led you to.
Oh, I literally was, and I love general surgery, and I Methodist Hospital in Brooklyn, like, peace out. Shout out to them. But I was reading my alumni magazine from my college. I was reading about this guy who was a craniofacial surgeon, plastic surgeon in Arizona, and I just started seething with envy, and it was so deeply uncomfortable. But spirit or someone tapped me on the shoulder. I was like, that is an important information. Like that is, you are connecting, something in you is connecting with that. I will preach that gospel till the cows come home. Like, envy, do not ignore that. When you have, and it's not one-upsmanship, but it's when it's like, oh, I should be doing that. Pay attention.
Envy is not jealousy. That's what I try to always say. I'm like, envy is like, oh, I want what that person has.
It's
that's interesting, because I felt a lot of that this last 24 hours.
It's so edgy.
Yeah.
It's like, don't discount it. Don't say, oh, well, that's not me and I shouldn't want that. It's like, no, that they're sparking something in you that pay attention.
Well, and you listen to your intuition, which I think is another power source, because there's you want someone who listens to their intuition when they're cutting into your body, for sure. Science, yes, but intuition also. If you can have a combination of both, the better.
My ass is out at you. Sorry about that. Sorry, not sorry.
Yeah, I'm like, you can't see it actually.
Nothing you haven't seen.
Is mine still recording?
Yes, it's mine. Everyone's still recording to us.
Intuition is one of the most important things that we can have as a human, that we are gifted as a human. Everybody has it. I would say like 80%, this is a made up number. I don't have any, data that tells me this, but don't listen to their intuition, right? Like, it's like,
why do you think that is?
Why do you think that is? Because, all of the basic, like fear, they don't want to try something that they don't know. There's something different on the other side that they haven't tapped into yet. It means that they have to get a little uncomfortable oftentimes because of the different change or challenge that they're stepping into. But I feel like you have a better answer. I can see in your eyes. I'm like,
no,
I have a question actually.
Yes.
Like, I want advice in this moment, in this conversation.
You guys know how to wear the headphones. I'm going to do it like you do. Like, you do like
you
the
have
hair.
Oh, the hair. I feel like my hair looks wild, but hey, that's we're all just showing. It's a come as you are vibe, just like I told you. You look great. Are you kidding?
Cute.
The whole time I've been like,
no matter what.
Adorable.
I know.
Okay, 3 things for you. What would you say to anyone, but specifically, like, this has been brought up with my community, to someone who is struggling with exactly that video that I shared prior to my reduction of the thought of changing your body when you are just trying to love it where it's at right now? What would you say to someone who has a desire for something like a reduction and a lift, to kind of come to terms with that understanding that it's okay, the what do you guys call it? The but and, or the
and
both and.
yeah,
the both
and.
and. What would you say to someone to come around to that both and, of you can still love your body where it's at right now, but you can also still have the desire?
I would say take ownership of the integration, that you are a body, you are a spirit, you are an intellect, you are an emotional body. And I'm cribbing from Hoffman process. If anyone wants to check that out.
Okay.
But
you speak
that
right now.
you are quadunal, whatever. You are you have these different elements, and that your body is an expression of you, and that love is dynamic, and that body is dynamic, and that body gets to be an expression of who you are. And that in wanting to change it, it is not a betrayal. It is a reunification. It is bringing that body back into who you now are.
Yeah.
And that you're all wrapped in love. And it starts with self-love, which you beam it. And that is like, that you lead with such love and such power that I think sometimes you don't understand the way that paves acceptance and both acceptance for you in yourself, and how people, you model how people can accept themselves. And that is just innate.
Thank you.
Amazing.
I know, you're over here reeling.
She's like,
and now you're going to wish you could join us for a margarita and just debrief all this.
Seriously, I should go take a kid to get a haircut, $32 haircut that I need cash for. I haven't gone to the bank yet, of course. Only cash, no Zelle, no Venmo, no nothing. And it's like the hardest place to get a haircut.
It really is.
The appointments are like, they are great. We love them.
Okay, well, and then I do genuinely, I need us to sit down and do a second episode, because there's just so much chat about here. But our thing on A Splash More, like we said, is the whole premise of this podcast is to, specifically for women, to encourage us to be more in a world that is constantly telling us to be less, right? Like, my whole life I was told I was too big, too loud, too much. And what is your splash more, a way that you show up in your everyday life, where you're I know you've spoken recently to just you're fuck it, I'm in my unapologetic area, but something that you want our listeners to walk away with today of this is Whitney Burrell's Splash More. This is the thing
this
that
is
you
her
show
extra.
up with, her extra.
What's that
your
next?
Extra?
That little thing that you don't really say out loud, that you're if I just said this out loud, maybe it would.
I'll credit my friend and neighbor, Christine Anderson, for wearing wearing tank tops and crop tops in her mid-40s and rocking the shit out of it.
Love
and
that.
I met her when I was postpartum, and I was like, who the fuck does this bitch think she is? I didn't tell her that. I told her, I was like, she's And I was like, no, I get to be sexy. I get to be seen. I get to be a little dangerous. I get to be a little risque. And that might be a crude way of creating space, but it's like, hey, I'm still here.
Yeah.
Love that.
I'm still here.
Yep.
And then you can go from there. And then you can go into your whatever lofty, elevated realms that you want to explore, but just creating the space and like the visibility, or not, or drink your cozy tea and read your books, like just that you get to do what you want.
Whatever you want. Yeah.
There is no prescription.
So sexy in your 40s, which you wear very well.
She does. Well, 50s now. Yeah,
In your
now she wears
50s.
60. And now, like, I love a crop
And
top, so I'm
60s.
here for that.
Yeah.
I know. In fact, that was why I was partially late too, is I was trying to decide what to wear, because I was like, I gotta, like, it's,
Show
we're
off
talking
the
with
boobs.
Whitney, so I gotta show off the boobs, but then I had already picked a sweater dress, but then I was like, well, and then what did I walk in? I walked in and Hayley was like, your nips are really nipping today. And I was like, well,
nipping.
they're out, baby.
Yeah.
Well, that's a beautiful note to end on. Whitney, thank you for being here with us
Yes.
today.
To really just pack all the profanity in the last sentence.
No.
Sorry. Fucking pack it in.
We like that.
Yep.
We like
That's what I
that.
have to say about that.
I like that.
I love you. And
Hayley,
you can,
such a pleasure.
Yeah,
Wow,
same.
We'll do more soon.
and if you want to
Yes,
hear more
thank
about
you.
my reduction and lift experience and like Whitney's practice specifically, I do have a full highlight of that under breast reduction on my Instagram, the Bailey P. And you can find Dr. Whitney Burrell on Instagram as well, and through her practice, Southbay Plastic Surgeons.
Thanks, Mom.
We'll see you
Yes.
next time. Cheers to a splash more.
Cheers.
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 Clink, clink.
Clink, clink, clink.
Thanks for tuning in to A Splash More.
If you love this week's episode, please drop us a topic in comments, share this episode with a friend, and follow us so you never miss a splash.
And remember, keep owning your voice, take up space, and keep stepping into your most powerful self.
See you next week.
See you next week.